Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Sir Ormond. My name is Zachary Jaoand Azarcon from 11th Compassionate, here to present my speech entitled Whole Chicken is Better Than an Egg. As a kid, I've always pondered about various riddles, although one particular stuck with me. How did a chicken cross the road? See, this riddle has a variety of unknown factors, yet one can think of possible outcomes. Let's narrow it down to, what if the chicken crossing the road is carrying an egg? What do you think is the best for it to do? People may have hope for the best, and some may guess it should leave the egg behind to save itself. Familiar, don't you think? It's because the situation is compared with the ongoing deliberation between pro-life and pro-choice. Try to put yourself in the shoes of the hen, or in this case, claws. In the first scenario, you chose to drop the egg. It is likely that you side with pro-choice. These people support the belief that a pregnant woman should have the freedom to choose to have an abortion. On the other hand, you chose to endure the wait. Similarly, those people who side with pro-life believes that life starts at the moment of conception and ends with natural death. They say it's immoral for a pregnant woman to have the freedom to choose to have an abortion. According to Annalise Tortoric, a writer at Hattiesburg, abortion is dangerous to women's health. This is supported by the American Association of Christian Counselors study about abortion's side effects on women's health. They discovered that induced abortion is significantly associated with an increased risk of breast cancer. A woman's overall risk of breast cancer increases by 30%. Since 1957, 23 of 37 worldwide studies show an increased breast cancer risk with abortion, a risk as high as 310%. Despite the alarming facts stated, I'd like to say that I abide by the opposite. I'd like to look at the bigger picture and think about the diverse options to eradicate their burden. Women should have choices. It is not as if their life is already paved to walk in a direction that has yet to happen. They should know when to stop and look at the situation, then decide that the load is no longer at the weight one can carry. Pregnancy should never be mandatory. It obliges a heavy amount of responsibility that affects both the physical and mental well-being of the woman. In 2008, approximately 41% of all pregnancies were reported as unintentional. In other words, some 85,362,000 pregnancies were unplanned. The choices of these 85 million women remain their own. A pregnant lady additionally should not go about as though directed by men over the society. Her body is hers alone, so she has the basic common right to do anything she desires with it. It is really simple. If an individual doesn't have the female reproductive organs needed to become pregnant, then it isn't up to them to lecture about the profound quality of pregnancy and decision. Men have no place to control the reproductive privileges of ladies. On the off chance that you are a man who opposes early termination, you can do your part by not impregnating ladies. In a country where the legislating body of our government is essentially made out of men, it is unjust to restrict the reproductive rights of underrepresented women. Nobody is rejecting that a fetus is a living being. Anything made out of cells is, by definition, alive. A fetus is alive, very much like leaves swinging from the tree, the yeast we use to heat bread, and the cows we butcher to burn through as food. These are generally living creatures. The way that a fetus might have a pulsating heart, creating neurological designs, or some other human quality doesn't liking early termination to kill. All early-stage creatures take after a created rendition of said life form. Moreover, a fetus doesn't have the mature essential neuroanatomical framework needed to feel pain until 26 weeks growth. Also, pain is an emotional encounter and requires careful turn of events. All things considered, note that by far most, 89% to be exact, of abortions happen inside the initial 12 weeks of incubation. Being pro-choice ought to likewise be in accordance with freedom of religion. A major problem with some supportive of pro-life advocates is the predominance of a religious argument. In the United States, freedom of religion incorporates the assurance of a security from religion. This implies that a person's strict convictions have no authority over another person's activities. One individual's God, ethics, and religious beliefs are not the general norms that all individuals should live by. There are boundless reasons as to why a woman may not be capable of carrying a fetus, should not carry a fetus, or simply does not want to carry a fetus. These reasons, however, should not matter. Which life has more intrinsic value? And who has the right to decide? The fetus of a pregnancy that may kill a woman with preeclampsia, or fetus resulting from rape, or the fetus of a woman who is unable to afford prenatal care. And what about the woman? Regardless of her reason to abort, denying a woman of that personal choice would effectively deny her the most basic human liberties. Actor Mark Ruffalo even shared in his own personal story in 2013, telling us how his mother sought out for an illegal abortion that could have ended her life if things went badly. He penned a pro-choice letter indicating how he does not want to reminisce what happened to her mother at a young age. His mother was denoted as a second-rate citizen back then. Having to live in a new era, experiences like what happened to Mark Ruffalo's mother should be a turning point for us to tell women that they have a choice. That is my speech. Thank you for listening.